A modeling agency in northeast China recently held a bikini competition to determine who might be serving you warm nuts in the near future. Now, the modeling agency Oriental Beauty held this event, and there were recruiters from both the aviation industry and fashion industry who watched from the audience as over 1,000 female recent high school graduates paraded around in conservative uniforms and bikinis, hoping to land job contracts. Now, the candidates were required to be 5'6", unless they were exceptionally beautiful, in which case the requirement could be dropped to 5'5".
Are they not merciful?
Exactly. All right. The women were further encouraged to be elegant, slim, have a sweet voice, and have no scars in the exposed part of their skin. Now, you're seeing some photos here of the competition for your next flight attendant.
All right. Well, what's that one doing there with no bikini and full clothing? Unacceptable.
She's not going to be flying the friendly skies anytime soon. But this spurred like an interesting debate this morning, I think, in the production meeting, as we talked about, like, is it so wrong to have these sorts of competitions for jobs where your appearance does kind of matter?
Yeah. So let's do it. Let's talk about it. Okay. So first off, there are jobs where your appearance clearly does matter and can be taken into account. So a modeling job.
Right.
Hooters is the classic example, not of modeling, but of a job where your appearance matters. And then, although I would argue the Hooters girls are hotter than models, but okay, I digress. And then in television, to some degree, though then it gets dicier, because what if you have a person who's been a news anchor for a long time, they're in the news business, a little different than television overall, and then is there ageism issues? So these are, it's not easy answers, right? Abercrombie and Fitch, I mean, they make the guys take their clothes off, right? The guys, I don't know, in front of all the Abercrombie and Fitches I've seen, they don't have a shirt on.
I think they're models, not necessarily employees of the company. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And there's a lot of places that do obviously hire based off appearance, and whether that's right or wrong, depending on the industry, I think is debatable to some extent.
Yeah, yeah. So now when it comes to airlines, okay, is that acceptable or not acceptable? Well, okay, I'm going to show my bias here, you know, because I'm in the American culture and everybody's different, and you know. But for me, the bikinis are a little uncomfortable. Like, if you're going to do, don't get me wrong, I'm as much of a perv as anyone. So, like, you got bikinis in other contexts, God bless, have at it, Hoss, right? But in the context of, okay, here's a job interview. Now, could you get stripped down to your bikini? That's super uncomfortable, right? And always think about it was what if the shoe was on the other foot. Like, I walk into a job interview and somebody's like, can I see you in your underwear? Like, well, okay. Anyway, the job interview's done. Like, okay, you
what if it was a really good job? just curious.
Yeah, I mean, a really good job. I mean, not that I don't look fantastic in my underwear, but as a matter of principle. So the other thing that made me uncomfortable is they're straight out of high school.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, the high school girls are out now? Great. Let's get them in bikinis and take a good look, right?
Well, also for the girls who are coming out of high school who want to get a great job and are trying to figure out what to do, and maybe they don't know enough yet about how the different industries work, and maybe this is the norm for this part of China, and they're like, okay, well, if that's what I have to do to get a good job, I mean, I know they're probably over 18, but I think some lines are being crossed.
Well, so that's our American perspective. I'm sure a lot of people across the world are like, oh, you guys are crazy. 18's an adult, and they can make any decision they like. And I'm sure a lot of people in America think that too. And these are good jobs, et cetera. It's not like they're not having sex to get the jobs. And we just saw a beauty pageant where they parade around in bikinis. So, where do I land on it? I'm split. I'm not sure. Because if it was Hooters or modeling, yes, no question. An airline, if you want your airline to have attractive female attendants, is that kosher? I think so, even though this process makes me a little uncomfortable, right? But I think someone probably could make an argument and convince me that no, this is not something where looks should be relevant.
I'm gonna make that argument, I think, because I think on an airplane, what's most important? I mean, that's the service industry people who are flight attendants. And so I have two kind of points to make here is one, it just really matters on, I think, your personality and if you're able to complete the job. So physical fitness might be a component of this because they have to stand for long flights and walk around and things like that. So maybe that could be taken into account. The other aspect of this is I think this is bad for people like males who want to be flight attendants because it gives them a disadvantage because if they're hosting a bikini contest,
Well,
I mean, men in bikinis have at it. If that's your thing, I say go for it. But I'm saying that they might put them at a disadvantage if that's something that they want to do, if that's a career they want to go into. So I think
you're understating that. But I mean, look, we haven't shown you the Speedo part of this contest, so we'll get to that. No, there was no Speedo.
There was no, exactly.
Okay, men are not at a disadvantage. They have almost no shot at this job.
Exactly.
Okay. On the other hand, I've defended Hooters when they don't hire guys, and like some guy suit them, and I want to put my hairy legs in the outfit, and
but that's
and I'm like, dude, yeah. But that's the thing.
It's different.
It's different. How different is the question? So well, and by the way, in America, I think the flight attendants are going to be terribly offended by what I'm saying because they believe that the most important part of their job is security, like to make sure that everybody's safe. So hey, like, you should worry a little bit more about whether people are going to be safe on that plane and a little less worried about my ass. Okay, that's a fair point, but everybody runs their businesses differently. So if you're an airline who says security first or service first, so I'm going to hire based on those criteria, well, maybe I want to take your flights with you more because I care about those things.
Right.
But if you're an airline who says, well, I want to basically cater to pervy businessmen that are coming in here, right, then I'm going to go this way. I don't know that we say that's not kosher. Obviously, this is in the context of China. They don't have American laws there. They can do whatever they want. We're just asking the question here, kosher or not kosher.
So I think it also depends on what the goal of the airplane is, like our airline is, just like you were saying. So I know on ThinkTank we covered a story about cocktail waitresses in Vegas and in other casinos and things like that. So if you are turned on, you're more likely to make a risky decision. So obviously they try to have hot cocktail waitresses so that men will gamble more. But I guess the goal of the airplane, like if they have some scientific reason why they want to have hotter women, maybe that will trick men into thinking that they're getting better service or something like that.
No,
but I just don't think.
I think that in China, as the country continues to develop, and it's a giant economy now, obviously, right? But probably more men fly than women, and for business reasons. And so they're just appealing to the horny nature of men. It's not rocket science.
Right.
Okay, that's why they're doing it. All right, let's do a poll. Let's go get it, our app. If you haven't gotten it yet, you just type in TYT in the App Store. The bikini contest for making it onto, is it Air China? Is it acceptable or not acceptable? Okay?
Okay.
So I'm curious what you guys think. Obviously, I'm a little split on this. You vote not acceptable.
I vote no bikinis and warm nuts.
Yeah. Okay. I'm generally pro bikini, but this issue has me flummoxed. And by the way, I like the modeling agency is called Oriental Beauty. Are they allowed to say that? But I guess if you're Chinese, you are allowed. We pardon you.